Hello, you're listening to Environmental Soup through the facilities of Trent Radio, or you may be listening online on my YouTube channel. Last week I talked about the Billy Bishop Airport, and I hope to have this up prior to recording or prior to posting. And this week I will talk about the Ontario and Manitoba budget focused on the environment. And it's not looking good for the budget in terms of the environment. The budget is called A Plan to Protect Ontario, and it does not protect Ontario's environment. I used Control F and found that climate was mentioned 3 times, environment 31 times, gasoline 15 times, nuclear was mentioned 35 times, and solar was mentioned 0 times. And I didn't get renewable was mentioned, but it was mentioned in terms of with natural gas, which I refer to as fossil gas. Let's see, highways. Highway is mentioned 164 times. Something related to the environment might be soil. Soil is mentioned 1 time. So I like to see what gets mentioned and how frequently, because it will tell you a lot about the priorities of the government. They seem to focus on economics, and they're accelerating investments in energy, critical minerals, and cutting red tape. Cutting red tape means a lot of the times reducing regulations, which often the first to be cut is in the environment, and speeding up permitting for major projects. The government has used Bill 5, which is a controversial piece of legislation which overrides most of the laws in Canada. In Ontario, the government of Canada has similar legislation. And I have made videos about Bill 5 as well. And then in terms of building, they are focused on constructing the Highway 413 and the Bradford Bypass, as well as a expressway under Highway 401. These are highways that have controversial because of the environmental damage that the roads would cause, and I have made a video about that on my YouTube channel, Environmental Soup. If you're interested in listening to that video, I will probably make an updated video on Highway 413. They are expanding public transit, which is good. There's 2 new transit lines in Toronto. There's the Bowmanville GO extension, which would be good for people that live there. And there's more frequent rail service in the Niagara region and a Woodbine station. And then there's weekend service in Kitchener. So some of that is good, but I wish that it would be more expansion of public transit than what it is. I know that the Bowmanville GO extension has been mentioned for a while. The electricity rebate is increasing. I saw that it's like over $6 billion. And there's a argument that it's not means tested, so anyone can receive that, even if they are a millionaire or billionaire. And the current system doesn't incentivize conserving electricity. One thing that I don't like in the budget is the gasoline tax and fuel tax rebates or cuts have been made permanent. This does not incentivize conservation of fuel, and without funding for municipal governments to transition to a lot of mass transit or improved mass transit, is going to be a challenge. And they've also removed tolls from provincially owned portion of Highway 407 East, which again doesn't incentivize use of alternative means of transportation. And the government has also advocated for ending the electric vehicle standards, so the emissions reductions are not going to be there from that. As well, the return to work office mandate will increase traffic congestion. So the government is saying that they need more roads when they are causing more traffic to occur by requiring people to go to the office instead of working from home. There are some jobs that can be done remotely, and let's see. You'll they're heavily focused on nuclear energy. A lot of people have various thoughts on nuclear energy, on the environment, both pro and negative, and that will be an entire episode to talk about nuclear. But there's no mention of solar. And what else did I highlight? And then I highlighted some other things. And they mentioned the Ring of Fire, accelerating construction. The Ring of Fire will be 5 years ahead. That will impact a lot of wetlands. So there is concern around that. And here's more detail about transit. They're building the Scarborough Subway Extension, the Ingleton Crosstown West Extension, the Young North Subway Extension, and they have light rail transit, and LT seems to be mostly in the GTA that they mentioned. Okay. I thought that was in. They have funding to manufacture buses, and that's going to Toronto. Okay, yeah, so most of that's like in the GTA. And Ontario is more than just the Greater Toronto area. So I would like to see like investments in like Ottawa, more investments in Ottawa and Windsor or other cities. Peterborough. Speaking of maybe Kingston. I'm just typing in. Kingston is mentioned once. And that's in relation to building subway calls for Toronto. And Peterborough is also mentioned once. And that's in relation to the controversial Safer Streets Stronger Community Act. So there's controversy there. And I don't know if I highlighted anything else in the budget. Oh, here it is. I noticed that there is a decline in emergency forest firefighting. from $271 in 2025 to 2026 to $150 from 2026 to 2027. So hopefully there's not a increase in forest fires. That's one of the major cuts that I saw. I know that sometimes cuts do cuts. It's important to look at inflation. So sometimes an increase, something might look like an increase, but it's actually a cut if it's less than inflation. I will look at what Environmental Defense found. They found they wrote an article, Ontario's 2026 budget falls short on environment. Oh yeah, I did highlight conservation authorities. They have water and land, and they talked about standardizing conservation authorities, but say that there's no new money going towards the new big old conservation authority. So that will be a problem. There's inefficient sprawl, and they don't believe that 1.5 million new homes will be built. And the budget did have a decline in housing, so it doesn't look like it will be reached. And then there's the blanket HST rebate, which isn't limited to mid-rise and multiplex infill. So people could apply for it for a single-family home, which will impact the environment because it's closer to the natural spaces, and if those more spread out communities, less people will be walking. Less people walking means more greenhouse gases. And yeah, there's a high focus on highways, and then there's nuclear expansion, but not any shifting to renewable energy. And then climate change isn't really in the budget. And they say it's a the only reference is 2% allocation within the green bond program. So I might look up the green bond program. Green bond I should look at the green bond is going towards subway expansions, and I'll have to go to the next article. The Chiefs of Ontario are all still opposed to the Bill 5, and they pointed out the economic zone. They're concerned about that. And then those CBC has highlights from the Ford government's latest budget push. They highlighted the hydro subsidy increase and the opposition slammed the budget, and Green Party leader Mike Shriners said, talked about some of the priorities and that they are like the highways, and the other leaders like Merritt Stiles and John Fraser also talked about complain about the budget, but they didn't talk about it in terms of environment as much. And then so going to the Manitoba, the Norwell has an article, New Failing Grade Conservation Groups React to Manitoba's Budget. And then there's a coalition of environmental groups, including the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society, Manitoba Eco Network, and Climate Action Team Manitoba. And they gave the report a near failing grade for its lack of meaningful investment in climate action and environmental protection. And then Manitoba's Environment and Climate Change Department saw an 11% funding increase, which is earmarked for existing initiatives. And I do like that those acknowledgement that public transit is a key component to net zero. But those not really that much investment in climate change. There's more investment in development. I did read a CBC article, and that was called 5 Potential Perils in Rob Canoe's Third Manitoba Budget. And one is assuming Manitoba hydro avoids another drought, and this article points out that the Lake Winnipeg Drazen Basin went through another dry season, and said that the mulch flood outlook prepared by and this is according to the mulch flood outlook prepared by Manitoba's Hydrologic Forecast Center. So climate change, it will have an negative impact on the budget in all municipalities, in all provinces, including Ontario and Manitoba. But this is a clear example. And there's highlighting banking on fewer forest fires this summer, and this article says that, quote, another significant wildfire season is unfortunately a possibility, and the wildfire suppression budget is unchanged from last year. And some of the commitments to hire more firefighters will take years to fulfill. So that's a major issue with the Manitoba budget. And I don't know. Apparently, there's a report regarding the groups. I'll have to find that, and I'll post it in the comment section on my YouTube page. And let's see, it's sold. So I believe that next week is a fundraising week. I haven't decided what I will talk about, but it's related to the facilities of Trent Radio, and I hope that you will tune in. I do plan on making a video on wetlands in the official plan. The city of Kingston is going through draft official plan, and I don't think that the policies are adequate to protect wetlands. I do plan on talking about that, and I haven't decided if it will be in a video or on the radio that week. The deadline to comment on the draft official plan is April 21st. I will write a note if I got the date wrong. But it's in Get Involved Kingston. If you happen to be listening from the Kingston area, the Natural Heritage Study and the draft official plan are up for comment, and I will look at some other official plans as well. I hope that you have a good exam season, and if I don't make a specific episode next week, at least for YouTube, I wish you good luck on your exams, and I hope to continue to make radio, and I'll show some of why I enjoy creating radio content. And I thank you for listening.